Another assumption we make to make this law crystal clear is the prices of substitute goods and prices of complementary goods are constant, or there is no change in prices of substitute goods and prices of complementary goods. I'll give you an example. Why do we need to assume it? Let's start with substitute goods. What happens? What are substitute goods? The goods which we buy as a substitute to one product. So if I don't have one product, I will buy another product and satisfy my want. There are many examples of substitute goods like sugar and jaggery, or tea and coffee, or let's say Airtel and Vodafone, right? So now what happens if prices of substitutes are changing? Let's say in case of tea and coffee, if price of tea increases, the consumer tend to see the substitute, which means coffee is cheaper, and tend to shift his preference from tea to coffee. Hence, if the prices of substitute changes, its demand reduces, but the demand for substitute increases, and it affects the demand. So naturally, what happens, in order to study the effect of price and demand only, we need to assume that the prices of substitute goods are constant, so that we just see a pure effect of price of a commodity, changes in price of commodity and changes of its demand. Similarly, price of complementary goods, we also assume that there is no change, or the price of complementary goods are constant. What are complementary goods? The goods which satisfy two or more goods which satisfy a single want. There are many examples. You can go ahead. Let's say you have electricity and AC. You have petrol and car, and the list doesn't go on. So what happens that if price of a fuel, or let's say price of a petrol increases, there are likely chances that the demand for car will reduce. Because people or the consumer will see, consumers will see that the prices of petrol are so high, I think we should not go for petrol cars. And there the demand for petrol car will reduce. So in case of complementary good, if price of one product increases, the demand for the other decreases. So in order to see this effect crystal clear, the law of demand crystal clear, we assume that the price of complementary goods remain same. So since the complementary goods remain same, I just see the effect of one thing over the demand, or price of that commodity over the demand, and hence the understanding becomes easier. So to make this understanding very easy and crystal clear, the very assumption we make is the prices of substitute goods are constant and prices of complementary goods are constant, which means there is no change in substitute goods and complementary goods prices.